Hey everyone, greetings joyful family. I pray that you have been well and that God has sustained you and kept you throughout the month of April. And so my name is Elizabeth. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome to Joyful Resound. This is a podcast about worship, not only on a Sunday morning, but we talk about what it looks like to worship God every single day of the week with our lives, with our work, with our profession, and you name it. And so welcome. So be sure to share, like, subscribe to the channel as well to receive notifications of when we post about worship or even our end of month devotionals. And so it has been Holy Week, and I hope this week you've had time to reflect on what God has done for us, how he sacrificed his life for us. And I've been reflecting on my experiences with Easter right from childhood, and also how we worship the resurrected King. And so we do worship the resurrected King every single Sunday and all, but you know, Easter worship just hits very, very different. And I look forward to worshiping this Sunday with friends and with loved ones, celebrating the resurrected King. One of the very few memories I have about Easter is thinking about how early did he actually get out of the grave, right? Right from Sunday school, we were told that, oh yeah, he got up Sunday morning. And I'm like, how early? Was it a 6 a.m., 9 a.m.? And so I'd always try to wake up early. It's like, wait, did I beat him to getting out of the grave and all? And my mom is like, he's already resurrected. But I remember just going to church, wonderful celebrations about worshiping the resurrected King. And we always had this, if you've never heard Ron Kennelly, the song Jesus is Alive, listen to it. I mean, that was playing in the house as we're getting ready for church. You'd expect it to be sang at church that Jesus is alive. It was a big proclamation that death has lost its victory. So check it out. And so that was also a wonderful reminder. But even as going through Holy Week and reflecting on the different events, right, that happened, I've been drawing different lessons on how we worship the resurrected King. And one of the things, I'm going to share a couple things, but I know there's more that we can glean from the scriptures. And please do go ahead and share a comment below that what have you learned from Holy Week about worship and how to live a life of worship to God, to the one who gave his all for us. And the first thing that I notice is reverence, right? We see with Matthew 21, with Jesus' triumphal entry, the people are laying down their clothes, they're laying down palm branches, and we see this act of reverence, right? And when we worship God, we come with reverence. We live our lives in reverence to the King. We also see even after that triumphal entry, we do observe that Jesus goes into the temple. He's overturning tables. Why? Because people have turned this house of prayer, this house of worship, into a place, into a marketplace, really. They're exchanging animals and dogs and all that. And he's like, this house is a house of prayer. So we see an aspect of reverence for the house of God, an aspect of reverence in worship. And so as we step out this Sunday going to worship, let us have this posture of reverence to the King. Secondly, we do see an expression of worship, right? The people are shouting, they're proclaiming Hosanna in the highest. And so worship is also filled with action. We clap our hands, we lift our hands, a dance to the Lord. And so we also see this physical act of worship. And so the third thing, we see community. We observe when we look at the Lord's Supper, we're going to Matthew chapter 26. In Matthew 26, you see the Lord's Supper. They are getting together, they're sitting around the table, they're having this meal, and they're breaking bread together. And also when we go ahead and see his crucifixion, we see that Jesus died for everybody. Jesus died for everybody. It was a community thing. And so when we do worship, I know you love to sing at home or at church online. You sing only in the shower or in your car. But what does it look like to step out into these spaces and worship God fully, worship God in community? Because again, he died for all of us. He died for everybody. For those that will believe him and those that might not even believe. And so we step out in these spaces and worship community. So I encourage you this weekend, go to church. If you haven't been to church in a while, step into the building, go worship with family, and let us worship the resurrected King. And lastly, we see surrender. And also, again, that is in Matthew 26, where we see that he prays in the garden, right? After the Lord's Supper, and he goes into the garden, he is praying. He takes the three close circle with him who end up dozing off and sleeping. But, he still stays in prayer. And right there, we see that he is praying. And I'm reading Matthew 26, verse 39. He fell face down and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." He goes on to say that he prayed this the second time, and then verse 44 says, after leaving them, he went away again and prayed a third time. Wow. If Jesus had to pray multiple times, guess what? You will have to pray multiple times. And sometimes we get tired. We're human. You're like, I'm tired of praying about this issue. But hey, keep praying, keep pressing on. But most importantly, we see that he surrendered. He didn't want to do it. I mean, Jesus didn't want to. He's like, Lord, let this cup be passed from me. And how many times in our lives where you're like, God, I really don't want to, but not my will, but yours be done. So we see this aspect of surrender, where we surrender our lives. We surrender everything that God has given us, our talent, our time, our treasure, to the resurrected King. So whether you are in the folds of the church on a Sunday morning, or at work, or you're at the store, where you live a life of surrender, surrendering to his will, that I might not want to stop and talk to this person. I might not feel comfortable sharing about the gospel to a stranger on the street, but again, not my will, but his will. And so I'd like to encourage you that as we prepare and as we're reflecting on the one who gave his all for us, right? Let us give our all to him, and let us step into these worship places with community in a big celebration for our resurrected King. But most importantly, let us come to him with reverence and a heart of surrender. And so I hope you've been blessed, and I pray that the rest of the month is filled with lots of hope and peace. And also I'd like to invite you to the last 3 days of April. We are having our end of month devotional. And in this devotional, we're going to be talking about faith. And so I hope to see you there. Again, happy Easter. Let us celebrate the resurrected King this weekend. Bye. And always remember, pray hardest when it's hardest to pray. See you later.